Hi, and welcome to my living room studio. For today's class, you'll just need your mat and might like to have a blanket or a pillow nearby because you might like it just as a cushion for the knees or under the head or for whatever you might like to have it. Sometimes it's good, you might get cold at sometimes. So that's all you'll need. And we're actually going to start out lying down today. So find a comfortable way down to the floor. And depending on the time of day or how you're feeling, you may not want to stretch out all the way right at first. So if you like to keep a little bend in the knees or stick something under the knees, that's okay. Just do what you can to feel comfortable through the whole class. Because remember, this is your class at whenever you're watching this. So make sure that you're feeling comfortable. Listen to your body. Don't go past what your body can do. You do a little challenge, but listen. If there's pain, listen to that. Dial it back. Okay? So finding a comfortable position on the floor. Let's just bring one hand to the center of the chest over the heart space and one over the belly. And let's just connect to our breath, to our gut, the home of our instincts, intuition, and just the all-important digestion and elimination. Coming into this space, this moment, noticing how you're feeling, seeing if you can relax any extraneous muscles. Here we're using the floor as our prop, so we can just relax deeply into the floor, letting it support us, feeling its support, tuning into those areas where we touch the ground. Letting your facial muscles relax. Letting your jaw just swing gently a little bit from side to side. Letting the tongue just lull back in the back of the mouth. Gently noticing any other sounds in the room. And just being aware of them, and acknowledging them, and then just letting them be, not fussing over them too much. Same thing with the thoughts, worries, concerns that might be moving through your mind. Again, just acknowledge them and let them be. Just being a witness to everything. And then just allowing the present moment to be as it is. Coming back to your attention to the chest, the heart, and the belly. Feeling the warmth of your hands. Just sending some love to those two very important areas. Love, gratitude, calm. We can embody them all. And then bringing your arms down to your sides. Sliding anything, if you've got anything in your sort of wingspan here, you might want to move it out of the way. And then we're going to take an inhale, and as we inhale, bring the arms up over your head so your fingers reach up towards the wall behind you. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the arms down by your sides. Now keep your arms down by your side as we take a big breath in. And exhale it out. Now this next inhale, you bring the arms up over your head, syncing it with the inhale. And then exhale, the arms lower down by your sides. Now arms stay down as you take another big breath in. Exhale. Inhale, raise the arms up over your head, sliding them, feeling the contact with the floor. And then exhale as you bring your arms down by the sides. Now arms down by your sides, inhale. And exhale. And let's try this on our own, remembering to inhale with the arms up, coming overhead. Exhale, arms come down. And take a breath. And begin again. So we'll do one more. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, arms come down. Then inhale with the arms down. Exhale. Good. Now, bend your knees and bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And raise your right foot off the ground and just kind of gently take a hold of the thigh behind the leg, and then straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling and begin to point and flex the foot. Starting to warm up the ankle, and then take your toes in a circle on the ceiling. Bringing some attention, taking that ankle through a full range of motion. And then go the other way. And just give that a little bit of a shake. Gently, see if you can bring the leg in a little bit more, feeling some stretch in the back of the leg. And then just begin to bend and straighten the leg at the knee. Finding the position that feels right for you. And then bending the knee, interlacing your fingers just below the knee on the shin, and just gently bring the knee closer in towards the chest. And then relax that. Place the sole of the foot back on the floor. And then lift your left foot off the floor and interlace your fingers behind the thigh and straighten your leg as much as feels comfortable, raising foot up towards the ceiling. And then begin to point and flex the foot at the ankle, feeling that movement through your foot, the ankle, the calf. And then begin to take your toes in a circle on the ceiling, first going one way, taking that ankle through a full range of motion, and then go the other way. And giving that a little bit of a shake. And see if you can gently bring the leg a little bit closer. Again, you can create a little bit of bend in the knee. And then go ahead and bend and straighten the leg at the knee. Breathing, noticing what you feel, feeling those muscles working under your hand. And then the next time the knee bends, slowly, let's see, bring your hands to interlace on top of the shin, just below the knee, and then just gently hug the knee in. And then replace the foot on the floor. Soles of the feet on the floor, the knees are bent. Then raise your fingertips up towards the ceiling, straightening the arms. And from where you are, just imagine that there's a rope or something that you're gently pulling down. Don't worry, nothing even imaginary is going to fall onto yourself. But you're just pulling this imaginary rope. Let's just, for safety purposes, let's imagine it's a circle of rope that we're just pulling over something that's very secure, so nothing is going to fall down on us. We're just pulling. So feel that arm reach. And so you keep one shoulder down, the other shoulder rises up as you pull and you reach and pull, and then the other one comes up and you reach and pull. Just starting to bring some movement into the upper body, into the shoulders, into the thoracic spine. All right, so pause that, but leave your arms up in the air with fingertips pointed up towards the ceiling. And then bend your elbows and hold on to the opposite elbows with the hands. And now we're going to do, this is called Dashrath's twist. And so as a unit, your knees are going to go over to one side and your arms are going to go over towards the other. And your head will follow your arms. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, go the other way. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale to center. And then release the arms down by your sides. So now this video is being filmed in Florida, and I don't know what experience other people have. I have made angels in the snow. Yes, I have actually. It doesn't really happen here in Florida, but many people have tried this. You might have tried this in the sand. So here in Florida, we might imagine this as an angel in the sand. So if you think about this, where you would be moving the arms up and down, creating the big angel wings. And we're only going to do the wings part, but what's going to happen here is the arms are going to move and the lower body is going to move. And I'm going to show you in two parts. So the way the arms are going to move, the arms are going to come straight up, fingertips towards the ceiling, and then down to over your head, and then out around, making those wings. Okay, so you can try those arms up, over, and around. All right, and then what the lower body is going to be doing at the same time is you might walk your feet in a little bit closer in towards your seat, hip width apart, and then we're going to be raising and lowering the hips. Okay, so it's a little bit of a hip tilt. Okay, so if you want to just try that, just pressing the feet into the floor, gently squeezing but lifting the hips, and then coming down. All right, so the way the movement is going to go is we're going to, take a exhale fully down on the ground, and then as you inhale, start to raise your hips, raising your arms, and then when your hips are at the highest point, and don't make this a forced thing, your arms are going to be down on the ground above you. And then as you slowly lower your arms, or slowly lower your hips, the arms are going to come down by your sides. All right, so exhale, and then inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms come all the way back, and then exhale as you slowly sink everything down, bringing the arms by the side, the hips down. So we'll try this. Inhale, arms and hips lift. Make this a nice, long, slow, controlled movement. Exhale as you come down. Don't try to just thrust up into the air. Make this slow and controlled. So you're making a nice, careful movement. So you're being aware of your body and aware of your breath at the same time. If this is problematic for your spine or your hips, feel free to just make this movement with the arms. And vice versa, if the arms are feeling problematic right now, then just make this movement with the hips. We'll do this 2 more times. And the next time that you come down to the ground, just pause here, recenter yourself, check in, take a breath. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, bring the forehead in towards the knees, and let's just rock a little bit from side to side. If it feels okay, see if you can create a little forward and back rock. And then gently bring yourself up to a seated position. Finding a comfortable upright position. And then inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, drop your right hand to the ground and lean over to the right, reaching with the left. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, take your left hand to the right knee and twist to the right. Inhale, come back to center, arms raised. And exhale, twist towards the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend the elbows and make some circles with your hands at the wrists. Taking those wrists through a full range of motion. Go the other way. And then pause that and make a tight fist and spread the fingers. Make a tight fist, spread the fingers, and then just wiggle those fingers. Shake your hands out. Bringing your fingertips to the tops of the shoulders and make some circles with your elbows. Breathing. And then go to the other side or the other direction. And then inhale, open the arms out wide. Exhale, cross the arms in front of you. And then just give yourself a little hug, squeeze, and just move around a little bit, focusing your attention and the movement just in between those shoulder blades. Might even, if it's a little bit difficult to take your attention there, take your attention to your elbows. Just maybe make some tiny circles going one way, and tiny circles going the other way. Then on your next inhale, open those arms out wide again. And then exhale, cross the arms the other direction. And then again, give yourself a little squeeze, maybe a little pat on the back. Because hey, you've come to yoga class today. And then maybe make those little elbow circles if you haven't. Try going the other way. Open the arms out wide, and this time exhale and bring your left arm across the body, holding with the right. Breathing, and gently turn your neck from side to side, only as much as it feels comfortable. And then inhale, open the arms out wide. Exhale, bring the right arm across and hold with the left. Feeling that, perhaps feeling a stretch through the upper arm, the shoulder, the back. And again, gently turn your head from side to side. A conscious movement. You're not shaking your head emphatically, no, you're just exploring some neck movements. And then inhale, open the arms out wide. And then just breathe. Let the shoulders settle down, bend the elbows, and then turn the fingertips so they point down towards the floor. And then, let's say, inhale, point the fingers up and back, and then exhale, fingers down. So this is a external rotation of the shoulder and an internal. So just, again, some conscious movements, feeling the shoulder. It doesn't even have to be a very big movement. You're still making that rotation, even if you're not going all the way to the floor, to the ceiling. So straighten the arms out wide and relax those shoulders. And then we'll make another rotation. So flip your palms up so your thumbs go back and down. And then twisting so the thumbs go down. So it's a little more of a rotation throughout the entire arm. But seeing if you can feel it, that almost like that twist. So again, think about, if you had something that was attached at one end and then you started to twist it. You could see that movement going the whole way. All right, so that's a little bit of a shoulder thing. We'll bring those fingertips back. Usually let's just bring the hands down to the thighs and just do a shoulder movement. Shoulder rolls either together in both directions or kind of a alternating and go both directions. And so then pause here, bring those hands down. Let's take one ear to the shoulder. So let's see, right ear to right shoulder. Come back to center. Left ear to left shoulder. Come back to center. And let's just go from side to side, moving at your own pace. Exploring the size of the neck feel. And then come back to center. My shoulders say, why don't we interlace the fingers behind us? So I'm just going to show you in front. So you interlace the fingers so the palms are up. So do that behind you. And then press those palms down. So you're bringing the shoulder blades together. And you can look, maybe not straight in front of you, not all the way up, but sort of that sort of thoughtful gaze. I feel like this is sort of a picture-taking kind of a gaze out into the upper horizon, thinking your most profound thoughts. You can also, as you do this with your arms behind you, your shoulder blades back together, maybe again see what that feels like to take a ear to the shoulder. You can also, if you like, you can unlace the fingers, and this is again behind the body. You can hold the opposite elbows or onto the forearm and just notice what that neck movement feels like now. And bring those hands back to the legs and just let your chin come down to your chest. Tucking your chin, maybe letting the head gently rock from side to side. Again, now exploring some movement in the back of the neck and into the thighs. And then gently coming back up. Bring your hands, we're going to interlace our fingers together. So go ahead and do that out in front of you. And then you may need to, if you've got hair over your neck, you may need to reposition. So go ahead and interlace those fingers behind your neck. And now, using either the heels of the palms, or you can also use your thumbs as like a little pincher, just give yourself a little neck massage here. I think actually the thumb pinchers, if you can do that, if that feels okay, that to me feels most effective, but mileage may vary. So just give your neck a little bit of love. You can also bring those arms down and just use your finger pads on the neck, on the shoulder, coming down to the traps. These trapezius muscles, the upper trapezius muscles here, they work hard. I'm sure you can tell. I'm sure you know. They're always bringing your shoulders up by your ears. They're always trying to get involved. They're very helpful. So just give them a little bit of love here. And then give a little bit of stroke down one side of the neck and down the arm. And take a deep breath or two here. And then come over to the other side. Just give a stroke. And shake that out. Actually bring your fingertips to your chest. I'm feeling massaging today. So bring your fingertips to your chest and come just below the collarbone, and just using some finger pad pressure, just give your chest a little bit of a hello massage. Doesn't have to be anything big. You can also use the opposite hand on the opposite side. Just tune in. Often, when we're so rounded, we're driving, we're typing, we're maybe reading, or we're contracting with bad news and stress, these things get all tight. So it's nice when we can open up and then also just give a little bit of massage. So switch over to the other side if you haven't already. Coming to the sternum, and you may even feel, gosh, the breath beginning to deepen, taking some deep breaths. All right, just give a little love, give a little circular motion, maybe going the other way. A little smile on your face. All right, bring those hands down to the legs and knees again. And then press your chest forward. So this is, we're gonna do, it's like we're doing the seated cat-cows. So allowing your chest to press forward. And then rounding the spine. So we'll inhale as we press forward, and then exhale as we round. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. All right, come back to center. And remember I had said if you'd like to have a blanket, you can bring it. We're gonna come to our side for just a moment. And if you don't happen to have anything right now, that's okay, because you can use your arm as a pillow, but you could also use the arm and the blanket for some nice comfort. So just make yourself feel comfortable. The pillow or the blanket can just kind of help level the head. All right, so bringing your knees in front of you. See if you can kind of stack your hips on top of each other. Trying to keep a nice, stable, stacked hip. And actually bring your hand to the front of your hip and gently raise your knee a few inches and bring your heel as close in towards your seat as you can. And we're just going to do some little hip circles. So it's like we often do with our leg out to the side when we're lying on our back, but we're going to make these a little bit smaller. We're going to try to just be moving the femur bone. So instead of getting the whole body into it to make this like, oh yeah, I'm making the biggest, try to make this small, and you'll start to notice some big feelings in the hip, in the glute, the gluteal muscle here, all those muscles in the hips and the butt. So again, moving the hip around and go the opposite direction. And again, make this a smaller, more conscious movement. And you'll really start to feel those rotators in the hip that often we don't give a lot of thought to, but they are very helpful. Okay, now raise your knee just slightly and imagine that there is a light in your kneecap and it's pointed towards somewhere, probably on your ceiling, somewhere out, or the wall, out and about. So what we kind of want to do is we want to keep that light in the same place, but then we just want to move the lower leg, or actually, it's going to feel like we're moving just the lower leg, it might, but we're rotating this femur. So you may notice the lower leg moving, but we're actually rotating the femur, the big leg bone in the thigh. And again, you're going to feel these rotators back here in the hip and the glute. So keeping that light, the imaginary light on your knee, because we're keeping this in one line, but we're just externally and internally rotating. Breathe. Okay, let that go. Bring that leg out in front of you if you can. Just let it rest. And then give yourself a little two-podiment type massage here on your hip. Just bring a little bit of extra circulation down into the side of the leg even. Only as it feels comfortable. And then just give yourself a little circular massage here, some little strokes back along the hip, along the leg. Give it some love. Okay, so gently lift yourself up and let's come on over to the other side. So bringing your blanket over and repositioning, finding a comfortable place on your side. Bringing those hips in front, or excuse me, well, the hips are going to be where they are. The knee is out in front of you. Stack the hips and bring your hand to the front of the hip. And then gently raise your knee a little bit. See if you can keep your heel close in towards your butt the whole time. And then begin to make some careful, conscious movements of the thigh bone, taking your hip through a full range of motion, taking your leg bone through a full range of motion. So this could include now this is going to include bringing the leg back a bit. So back behind you, exploring this movement, pausing if you need to. This can sometimes be a little less clunky than when we do it on our backs. And remember to go the other direction. Just exploring this movement. Are you remembering to breathe? All right, good. So now, the femur is going to stay in one line. So your thigh is going to stay in one place. Imagine that there's a light that's going to be just on one spot. So you've got like a target, out on the wall or the ceiling, and it's going to stay right on target. There might be a tiny deviation. But then begin to rotate internally and externally, feeling that movement. Checking in with your upper body. Are you concentrating so hard that your upper body is tensed up? If that's the case, see if you can let it go. Knowing that you can always come down if you need to take a break. Honoring your body, honoring what you need, your intuition. All right. My intuition is telling me that I would like to put my leg down, bring it out in front. resting it in front, and then just making a little fist, pounding, a little massage, a little relief, a little love into your hips and glutes, lovingly, okay? Because you never really take a lot of time to think about what excellent stability muscles are in here, but they help you walk, they help you balance. So give them some love. Give the thighs some love. Thank you, thighs. Thank you, hips. All right, gently press yourself up, and you can push that blanket out of the way and come to sit on your butt, but leaning back onto your hands. The legs are bent, the soles of the feet are on the floor, and pressing yourself up a bit. We're going to come to our old friend upward facing boat, okay? So start to see if, can you maybe lift your toes off the mat? Can you lift one foot off the mat? Starting to come into this sort of upward facing V, or, I don't know what you would call this. Well, I guess I am making a bit of a V. You can eventually maybe, that doesn't feel stable for me. So I like to keep, it's enough work for me to have the legs try to be the shins parallel. Maybe, as you might have seen, I have lifted my arms up. You can try that. But you can definitely keep those arms behind you, maybe opening the chest up a little bit and seeing how it's going. Experimenting a little bit. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and gently lower ourselves all the way down. And come down to the floor as you have, and just give your legs a little bit of a wiggle. So kind of a windshield wiper. And at first, do this a little bit slowly. So rolling the legs in, rolling the legs out, rolling the legs in, rolling the legs out. And then just speed it up a little bit more. Maybe you want to go both sides together. There's different ways to wipe a windshield, right? Then you can let that movement come all the way up the body. You might start to feel everything start to jiggle a little bit. Even let your hips jiggle a little bit. All right. So bend your knees. Place the soles of the feet onto the floor again. And let's try an upside down lunge, a supine lunge. So the first thing we could try is, let's see, this is my right leg. So I'm going to raise my right leg. And first I'm going to try to imagine 90 degrees. So I feel like right here, I can kind of see myself. I think this looks like my thigh is about 90 degrees to the floor. It looks like the shin is about 90 degrees. Find that, and then hinging at the hip, see if you can bring the foot as if the foot was now pressing up towards the ceiling, or not pressing, but imagine that now the ceiling is the floor. Okay, so keeping that knee bent and taking your concentration here. So also with that foot that's on the floor, can you press in slightly, creating a little tension in this hip and leg that is still connected to the floor? And now, can you inhale the arms up over your head? You can let them touch, but maybe don't let them touch. Let the arms hover just slightly off the floor. And start to notice what you're feeling. I'm starting to feel some muscles in this leg that's up in the air say, hey, we haven't really done this before, or not in this position. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, see if you can now straighten the leg that's, or straighten the opposite leg. So this would be, I'm straightening now my left leg and pressing the heel away. Can you bring this leg that's up in the air, can you, using just the strength of the leg and core and all, can you bend your knee a little bit more, bringing the leg closer towards you, the knee and thigh closer towards your torso. Keep breathing here. If you'd like to bring your arms down, that's okay. We're just playing around with some variety of movement here. Okay, so let that go. Bring both knees in briefly. Bring them both down to the soles of the feet to the floor, and then actually slide both legs down. And just close your eyes for a moment and just notice. What do you feel? Does one hip feel different than the other? Does one leg? Just notice. All right, so bend your knees again, place the soles of the feet onto the floor. And this time take the other leg, this is my left leg, and raise the sole of the foot onto the, off of the floor, bending the knee, and see if you can kind of set up as much of a 90-90 as you can imagine. And then begin to bring the knee and the thigh closer in towards the torso, imagining now that our foot is on the ceiling. Then, taking some awareness into your right leg and foot, can you press that foot into the floor? Not so much that you launch yourself up, but just sticking that foot in, maybe even pressing down and pressing away. That definitely engages the quads a bit more. And then raise those arms, if you like. Raise those arms up overhead. See if you can keep reaching without relaxing and just letting the arms drop. So my arms are hovering a little bit as my right foot presses down, my left foot is imagining pressing towards the ceiling. So that's another thing you can do, and that just totally kicks the muscles on. I am not trying to jiggle my leg, but what I'm doing is while keeping my knee bent, I'm imagining pressing, but I'm not actually letting things straighten. So that's kind of a cool feeling. So again, stay here, explore the feeling, come out if you need to. If you like, you can straighten that leg where the foot had been on the floor, straighten that leg, pressing the heel, the sole of the foot away from you. Can you maybe bring that knee and thigh a little bit closer in? Again, if your shoulders say nay, go ahead and bring them back down and just play with this as a lower body exercise. Also, you can feel the core is happening. So breathing here, noticing what you're feeling, noticing the interesting jiggle movements that might be happening, the muscle fibers that are saying, hey, I'm here for duty, I'm on duty. I've been asleep for a while, but I'm back. Okay, so bring those knees in, give them a little bit of a hug, maybe a little rock from side to side. If you want to try one more thing, straighten your legs up towards the ceiling. You can give the legs a little bit of a wiggle. And then, so remember, we're imagining that our feet are on the ceiling. So remember, it's like we're dancing on the ceiling. Whoa, what a feeling. Okay, so we're doing yoga on the ceiling this time. All right, so slightly widen your legs apart as if Same way as if you widened your legs into a wide-legged stance. Now, turn your toes slightly out to the side. You can feel that rotation in the hips, down into the hip sockets. Then, pretend that you were going into a squat. So, take those knees, they're going to go out to the side a little bit, and your knees are bending. So we're not in happy baby. We're not in happy baby. We're imagining that we're in a squat, although this would actually be a little bit of a squat where we've bent our knees, we've pressed our hips back, and then maybe we bring our hands down too. You don't have to do that with the hands. But again, imagine, do that thing that I was talking about, imagining that you were pressing your feet into the ground, but keep those knees bent. So because we don't have anything to actually press against, the tendency might be to straighten the legs. But see if you can just press and imagine. So you're creating that movement in the legs, but nothing is actually, the leg isn't actually moving. You're just turning those muscles on, okay? If you like, you can make some goddess arms or goalpost arms, opening your arms out, bending the elbows and taking the fingertips to point back behind you. Breathing here. I have also another fun little jiggle thing happening here where my muscles are kind of working, perking up. Okay, enough of that. Bring the knees in towards the chest, rocking a little bit from side to side. You can roll over to one side briefly and see if you can take a hold of your ankle or the top of the foot and see if you can hug the heel in towards the seat again and direct your knee back. So you'll feel a bit of a stretch through, or perhaps you might feel a bit of a stretch through the front of the thigh, seeing if you can keep your knee about parallel to the floor, that thigh parallel to the floor. And then you can just roll to the other side. I'm going to roll just so I keep facing you. And see if you can grab the front of the ankle or the top of the foot and draw the heel in towards the butt. The knee is starting to move back behind you. Or actually now I feel like it's about in line with the rest of my body with this other knee is forward. Taking a breath. All right, let that go and come to your hands and knees for just a moment. I'm gonna tuck my shirt in. Come to your hands and knees. Let's do a quick cat and dog in this position. So just feel a little bit of a spine loosening as you drop your belly down. Inhale, exhale as you round your spine up towards the ceiling. Maybe even dropping back into child's pose. Inhale, come up, let the belly drop down, and exhale, round and sit back into child's pose. Inhale, lift, belly drops down. Exhale, spine rounds and seat goes back into child's pose. Once more, inhale, belly drops down. Exhale, round the spine, press back into child's pose. Take a breath here in child's pose. Now, coming back up into all fours, table pose. Press your hands into the floor. And I'm gonna just come just a little bit more forward onto the mat. Press your hands into the mat, and as if you were pressing the mat away, feel your shoulder blades widening a bit in the back. And then step one leg back, maybe the other leg back coming into plank. You can also just alternate, but see if you can hold plank for a moment and just notice how I came just from table. So if you need to come back and reset, give that a try. Taking a breath, breathing, and then gently bring your knees down to the floor and come all the way down onto your belly. And reach your fingertips out in front of you and reach towards that wall in front of you and reach your toes to the wall behind you. Reaching, stretching, reaching. Then make a little pillow with the hands, and you can either rest the forehead, you can rest the side of the face. I'm gonna stay slightly up just so you can hear me. So take a few breaths here, belly down, feeling the belly, the ribs, feeling things expand with support on the front this time. Might widen your legs just a little bit, just to make sure that they're about hip width if they're not already. And then begin to make some windshield wipers again. In this way, you'll think about the heels. So take the heels in and the heels out. Breathing. Feeling this movement all the way into the hips. And then bend your knees and give them a little bit of a windshield wiper. You can go both in, both out. Or you can go a little bit, both legs go the same direction. Maybe one feels a little bit better for you. Pause that with your feet up in the air and take your feet together as if they were both tracing a clock, a circle. You take them in a circle in one direction and then go the other direction. Something else you can try, this can be sometimes helpful if you have SI issues or sacral discomfort, is to, while you've got your feet in the air, put one foot on the, say take the arch of a foot and put it on the inside of your calf and just gently trace, you're just, how do I say this? You're kind of just tracing the side. Those aren't the right words. You're just giving a gentle, I guess sort of a stroking the calf with the foot. So it's creating lots of little movements so you can go all around as if you were just feeling the calf with the arch of your foot. Just notice how that feels. It may resonate with you, it may not. And then release your feet down. And again, take a couple of nice full breaths here on your belly. Then begin to move your hands beneath your shoulders and gently press yourself into all fours, into a table position, and then let your hips sit back towards your heels, coming into child's pose, hanging out here for a few breaths, knowing that you can grab that blanket. You could use that Try that beneath your seat today. Never be afraid to use some props to make yourself feel more comfortable. We're all built the same but different. So it's important to honor that. Then gently press yourself back up to a seated position. If you've got that blanket or cushion underneath in between your seat and heels and that feels good, then keep it there. If you'd like to move it, then you can. Take a breath. Slide that support out if it was there and come to sit on to your seat. Bring both legs out in front of you. Bring your hands out behind you. Bring your hands behind you. Widen your legs just a little bit. And again, do that little windshield wiper motion. Pressing into the hands so you're not just sunk into your shoulders. Pressing up. And then let that go. And slide your right foot, bend your right leg and bring the right sole of the foot into the inside of the left thigh. And inhale the arms up over your head. And then exhale, hinging at your hips. Start to lean forward as if you were handing a package to somebody out in front of you, or maybe reaching for it. Reach, and then just allow your hands to come down to your leg, or perhaps to the sides of the legs. Taking a breath. The sole of the foot is pressing away from you. You can also keep a little bend in the knee. And then as you inhale up, slide the hands back in. Bring the knee to point up towards the ceiling. And then bring the foot across that leg. You can also keep the foot here, but see if you can bring the foot across. Holding on to the outside of your right leg with your left hand, or you can wrap the left arm around. And inhale, lift your right arm up and bring it somewhere back to the side or behind you. Twisting and lifting. And then breathing. On your next inhale, lift that right arm up into the air and then bring both hands over to your left side. Then lean out of the twist. As you come up, bring your right foot back to the right side, but bend your left leg and lean over to the left just slightly so you can bring your right leg behind you. So we're coming into a little bit of I don't even know what we're going to call it, but see, I'm just going to switch just a little bit so you can see. If you can bring this heel in towards your hip. So that'll be the right heel in towards the right seat and hip. And then bring your hands behind you, leaning back a little bit, but again, pressing into the hands so that you're not sunk down into your shoulders. Lifting up. Now, you may feel quite a bit of a stretch here, but if you'd like a little bit more challenge, see if you can gently lift and lower your right hip. So it's not really, you're not making a big movement, you're not coming up, but you're just slightly pressing the hip forward. You may notice some stretch through the front of the hip, the front of the thigh, maybe even into the inner thigh. And then gently lift yourself back up. Bring both legs out in front of you, perhaps giving a little shake. And then keeping your right leg extended this time, bend your left leg in. Bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, coming forward. Maybe it's just forward slightly. And then bring your arms down as if you were reaching, trying to grab something, or maybe reaching to give something to someone out in front of you. And then allow those arms to come down. Take a few breaths here, remembering that you can keep a little bend in that knee. On your next inhale, slide your hands up your leg to come back up upright. Bring the left knee up towards the ceiling with the sole of the foot on the floor. See if you can cross that left foot over the right leg. Using your right hand to hold the left leg or wrapping your right arm around. Lift your left arm in the air. And as you exhale, place it somewhere to the side or behind you. And breathe here in this twist. That also doubles as a little bit of a hip stretch too, for some people. On your next inhale, lift your left hand up, bring both hands over to the right, lean yourself out of the twist. Gently raising yourself up, bring the left sole of the foot back onto the floor, then bend your right leg and sort of lean over onto the hip and allow the left leg to bend and sort of come behind you with the seeing if you can keep your heel close in towards your hip. So that may determine how the rest of you is set up. And when you feel comfortable there, go ahead and lean back a little bit. Although, I'll tell you, if this is enough of a stretch, you may not need to lean back. Perhaps you just stay right here. But you might like to lean back onto your hands, again, pressing into the hands, bringing the shoulder blades a little bit closer together, and take a few breaths here. Starting to tune in to the front of your left leg. If you might like a little more, see if you can gently press and release the front of the left hip towards you. Apologies, one of my cats is starting to feel a little attention deprived and he's trying to open cabinets in the kitchen. Pressing and releasing. Feeling what you feel. Could be in the front of the hip, the front of the thigh, the inner thigh. And then return to an upright position and gently turn yourself and come down to your back on the mat, gently lowering yourself down. And we'll just go ahead and lower ourselves all the way down into Shavasana. If you need to make any final movements to feel complete before you stretch out, feel free to do that. But when you're ready, come on down into Shavasana. with your legs outstretched, or you can always keep them bent with the soles of the feet on the floor. Your arms are out by your sides, about 45 degrees out, with your palms facing up. Give your hips a little wiggle, your shoulder blades a little wiggle to find the comfortable positioning. And take a few breaths here. Long, slow, deep breaths, filling the belly, the lower ribs, the mid ribs, the upper ribs, filling everything and then letting everything release. After taking a few of those more exaggerated, relaxing breaths, just let your breath return to normal. Breathing, letting yourself sink deeply into the mat. Taking an awareness scan through the whole body, particularly tuning in to the hips, sending your awareness, your breathing into the hips, letting any tension that might remain there to just evaporate. Taking that awareness further up into the shoulders. Feeling the tension evaporate. Continuing to take that awareness throughout the entire body, searching out those areas that might need a little bit more of your awareness, a little more of your breath, sweeping those areas clean. Letting any facial expression melt away. Feeling the forehead smooth, the brows, the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. Taking a big breath as you start to bring your awareness back into the room. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, taking in a deeper breath, letting it out. Wiggling your hands, wiggling your feet. Starting to bend your knees, rolling over onto your favorite side. Taking a breath here, silently saying to yourself, I feel happy, healthy, and deeply at peace. If that doesn't quite resonate with you, then say to yourself more and more, I am feeling happy and healthy and deeply at peace. allowing for that possibility. And then gently pressing yourself back up to a seated position. Coming to whatever position feels comfortable for you. It could be cross-legged. Maybe you come to sort of a kneeling position. I'm going to bring a little cushion beneath my seat as I bring myself into a kneeling position. Bring your hands to your heart, giving yourself a little bit of just a gentle rub here again over that heart space. And then bringing the hands to stillness, bringing your attention, your awareness into the heart space, taking a nice deep breath in, letting it go. Another deep breath in, and exhale. Letting your eyes open, knowing that you can come back at any time during the day, during the evening, whenever. Bringing your hands to your heart, taking a deep breath in, and feeling this comfortable, peaceful, relaxed feeling that hopefully you're feeling right now. May we be free of suffering. May we have physical happiness. May we have mental happiness. May our hearts be at peace. And let your hands come down. I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And I'll see you next time.